Hello, welcome to this new video. My name is Martina Vincenzi and I am the founder of the VIP Flight Attendant Academy Private Jet Coach. On today's video, I would like to answer to 4 questions that a lot of people is asking or is researching out there in the web in order to answer the questions of how to become a VIP flight attendant. So these 4 questions are related to this topic, and if you are out there and you are trying to understand, to dig more into the business aviation and private jet industry, I'm happy to hopefully give you a different insight, from the inside of the industry. So I have written them down in order not to forget anything, and let's get started. So what are the requirements in order to have better chances of being a VIP flight attendant? We have a few, and these requirements, you might be surprised that that is not necessarily what you think they are. For example, cabin crew license, is this a requirement? Yes and no. If you have one, it's definitely better. It's a great thing, but it's not mandatory, because the law doesn't require you to have a cabin crew license in order to fly on an airplane which has less than 20 seats. So therefore, if you have a previous aviation experience, that's great, because you know already how to approach an aircraft, you know already what are the dangers, you know already that basically humans are not meant to fly, yet we are doing that anyway. And but the fact that we are doing has to, we have to be always very careful of what we are doing when we are on board the aircraft, because again, we are in an unnatural environment and things can lose control and go very, very bad very, very quickly. So it is not some regulation, dictated by the aviation authority, but nevertheless, companies in general, they like to have candidates with previous aviation experience and with a cabin crew license. Now, regarding the cabin crew license, in fact, you have to dig a little bit deeper and understand in which geographical area you are talking about. Because the different aviation authorities might have different rules when it comes to cabin crew license, also for private jets. So you need, I would say the first step that you can do is to identify, or having at least a preference, where in the world you would like to apply for a VIP flight attendant job. Because in America things are running a certain way according to their aviation authority. In Europe, every country of the European Union have their own aviation authority, but nevertheless they all fall into the EASA regulation, which is the European Aviation Authority. And then same for the Middle East and Africa. All the countries have their own aviation authority, and this may land into a different type of requirement. So for Europe and America, this is not mandatory for you to have a cabin crew license, although it is highly appreciated, let's put it this way. Previous airline experience, again, is very, very advantageous for you, but it's not mandatory. Companies out there, private jet companies, what they really like is for you to have previous aviation experience into premium cabins of a major airline, so business class or first class, because you have the best of all, you have a very high level training in terms of safety, security, and how to deal with an aircraft. And you have also a very high standards training when it comes to hospitality, customer care, and luxury. This is, these 2 things combined together allows you to reach a very good level, a very good point when it comes to private jets. So this is probably I would say the most advantageous skill set, but again, it is not mandatory, Your own background it could be quite interesting anyway. If you have a background, for example, as a personal assistant for a ultra high net worth individual, great. This is lovely. You know already how to deal with these people. You know, you are able to identify their needs. You know how to communicate with them efficiently and effectively. This is amazing. It's super, super useful, okay? If you have experience in private yacht, I don't know, luxury hotels, starred restaurant, this is also super amazing. Your detail orientation is like beyond imagination, and your elegance and your practicality in conducting an in-flight service is going to be amazing, okay? So every background actually holds within some good things, some good skills that are interesting for the business aviation. So do not get scared because you may not have previous airline experience, but if you have worked again in a starred restaurant, in a private yacht, in a maison, so in a residence for a family, for example, this is also very, very good. And whatever else is missing about aviation, you can still learn. So skills can be taught. So it is not you don't have to stop yourself just because you think you cannot. You can still try and see where this goes. Another question that I have been asked very, very often is about the age limit or height limit on a private jet. So, well, let me tell you, all the restrictions that the airline puts in place regarding, maximum age for you to apply for a job, etc., etc., it is not applicable on the private jets. Again, this is, let's say, the rule. This is the truth. But then you can stretch this more or less according to the country of reference. So, for example, in America, there is no discrimination whatsoever regarding age, religion, gender, color of the skin, whatever. No discrimination. So over there, not a problem. In Europe, we are walking towards this, but we are not quite there yet. So, for example, you may find that companies may have a preference for a female flight attendant, but that doesn't mean that there are no male flight attendants. There are, you just have to know where to apply, okay? Let me tell you the big news. Normally in the business aviation, we have a minimum age limit rather than a maximum age limit. So I would say the standard and most general career progression is you start in the airline, you evolve career-wise over there, and then you move on to private jets. So the majority of the VIP flight attendants over there, they're actually coming from a background somewhere else, and then they came onto the private aviation on a later stage of their career. Me included, I did exactly the same. So if you are, in the airline, normally you have this age limit, which is 30 years old, or sometimes if you're lucky, you can find 35 years old as a maximum age for you in order to apply. No, this is not applicable in the airline. Me, myself, I recruited a woman, and I had her to sign the contract, and she was 49 when this happened, and now she's still working as a VIP flight attendant. So this is not a problem, because it really depends on the situation. It really depends on the job that you find. Okay, working on a private jet, you have all another universe, all different dimensions, and the fact that you are a lady or that you are a man, for example, it could be of a super advantage for you, because maybe you're going to fly for a family, for example, and they see in a mature lady a sign of trustworthy, a sign of safety, something that, you know, can help them to feel more comfortable. So it really depends, but that doesn't mean that you have less choices if you are a mature lady. Actually, you have the same choices. I'm not saying that, you know, everywhere is the same. It really, as I said, it really depends on which kind of operation you are going into. But remember that business aviation doesn't have these restrictive limits in terms of age. In terms of height, in here we might have a problem if you are too tall rather than if you are too small, because private jets are smaller, okay, than the airline. So in the airline, you normally have to reach a certain height, which is 2 meters and something, with your arm stretched up to the sky. Well, on a private jet, this is because you have to be able to reach the emergency equipment easily. Okay, if they are maybe in the very back of the overhead bin, you have to have arms long enough for you to go and grab the fire extinguisher or whatever it is. On a private jet, everything is more compact and tiny. So I, for example, have the opposite problem. If the jet is too small, I cannot stand straight and I have maybe to bend my neck like that. And this is, of course, not comfortable. It might even create me some problems, some health issues in the future. So I would say that you have probably the problem in the other way around. So my suggestion is have a look and try to see what can you do in order to, you know, make sure you understand what type of jet is that. So just have a look and see if you can understand how high is the cabin, okay, the cabin height. It's actually quite important. Then next question, do I need a specific qualification in order to do this job? Again, it really depends on which geographical area you are talking about. So if you are, for example, working in America, over there is mandatory for you to have the so-called FACTS training. So that's a safety and emergency procedure training that is normally on your expenses, because you cannot even apply as a VIP flight attendant or if you do not have that. Then for all the other recurrent trainings like that, the company should provide that for you. In Europe, this is not mandatory, okay? The company provides you the training once they have employed you, but you do not need to have that valid before signing the contract, if that makes sense. For example, in Europe, it's quite nice to have also a medical certificate issue for, like the same for cabin crew, that states that you are, you know, fit to fly, while in America it's not mandatory. So again, it really depends. However, this as the cabin crew license is something that is really related to the geographical area where you are focusing on. Something that in Europe is really appreciated is if you have taken yourself a training about business aviation, so a specific training for this industry, for you to be aware of what are the expectations and the dynamics that happens on a private jet. Same thing in America, not really important. So again, as you can see, it can really be different from one place to another. Languages that you need to know, of course, English. English is the aviation language, so you need to be able to speak and write and read, I would say in a professional level, so that's absolutely mandatory. When it comes to other languages, again, depends where you are referring to in the world. In Europe, if you know any other European language, it's absolutely amazing, in particular French and German. This is because companies who are based in France and in Germany, or the Swiss, the German-speaking part of Switzerland, they prefer for you to be like a high-level professional German or French or even bilingual. This is their rules, so this is what normally happens with those countries, and in fact you can see that because they post job advertisement in French or in German. So if you are not able to read those, it's actually quite difficult for you to be able to apply, right? Other languages that it could be beneficial, I would say Arabic, Russian, probably Mandarin or Cantonese, also quite beneficial because of all the Asian part like Singapore, Hong Kong, and some parts of China as well. Nevertheless, if you know them, very good for you. You certainly gonna find quite a lot to do over there. If you just know English, you can still find jobs that are, good for you. So I would say the main thing is English, and then of course the more you know, the better it is for you. Non-European passport. So if you want to apply to a European company who runs a business in Europe, but you have a passport which is not from the European Union, are you allowed to do that? Will the companies actually take you into consideration if you are not part of the community? I would say yes and no. It depends. So there is this misbelief that in the European country we take only European passports. So we just take people who comes from any other country of Europe because there is no problem. If you are from France, you can still find a job in Germany, in Portugal, in Spain, in Italy, in Austria, wherever, because it's all part of the European community. But I would say it really depends. If they like you, they will help you in obtaining, with another passport that you have. They can help you obtaining the resident permit and the work permit. There are some countries which are more open to this, and some other countries which are not very open to this. So again, you need to know where to apply. I witnessed myself, one of my students, she was from Serbia and she actually found a job in Malta. So Serbia is not a European community and Malta it is. And there you go. And she actually could find, help with that matter from the company. So do not think that this is not doable. The same thing also happens for the green card or the US permanent visa. You can apply. The worst case scenario, they're just gonna tell you no, but it's not the end of the world, is it? You can apply, and maybe they might like you so much that they can help you to do, to work through these things and help you in settling down legally in order for you to be able to work in the country. So yeah, this is probably one of the latest questions I've been asked, and I thought about highlighting this. Business aviation is worldwide, and it is a small portion of aviation, but it works worldwide. There are opportunities out there. You just have to know where to look for them. And because of this, my biggest suggestion for you is to seek for guidance from somebody who is inside the industry, who can guide you and tell you what to do or help you to give the correct interpretation to what you see and what you witness. Because some dynamics, it might be difficult if you're coming from the outside and you are completely new to this world. Some dynamics, it might be difficult to understand. I hope that with this video I helped clarifying a little bit how does it work. As always, if you have any questions related to private jets and VIP flight attendant life and business aviation / corporate industry, feel free to reach out. So that's all for today. Ciao for now and baci baci.